Right, okay, I am going to put together now the Bretonnian Knight command. So I've kind of done myself a little bit of like preempting and built the actual knights themselves, or at least the bodies, just because they're very fiddly, and if I try and just build them live, it'll take longer for the video, and it'll be a pain. So just to get you going though, I will kind of show you how to put one together. So all you see is that, they're really simple. Just make sure that you line the sides up correctly. So if you cut one from there, make sure you cut the one that is its kind of mirror opposite, just to make sure that your bodies line up properly. It's very, very simple, really. Just get it tidied up. Remove any mould lines. Just be careful with the stirrups, because you can overshave them and lose the stirrup. It's just a slight problem that the mould line is on the stirrup and not on the foot itself, meaning that there's a slight risk of you cutting it off completely. Now, pop glue on either side of that, pop them together, and there we go, nice and simple. That's how easy it is, nothing really to it. I mean, I haven't tried to see if they're kind of universal, but to be honest, they look so similar anyway, each side, that I don't think it makes much difference. I still think, make sure you keep doing that though. Keep the mirrors together, for want of a better word. Okay, moving across from there, the body. Again, the good thing about these bodies, I know I did a bit of a mid-build review, and I was a bit harsh on the men-at-arms and the archers, because I felt that with a single body plan, there's not much you can do about positioning. These, you can, if you need to, twist the bodies to give them a slightly more dynamic look, though I'm not going to deny it. When I've then tried to kind of do something like that, it doesn't always work. So what I would say is you can, however, particularly if something's going to be, say, a champion, you could potentially do something like that. Twist the body slightly, and that way one of the arms can be a bit more pronounced outwards. Now, main aim of this one is to actually put together the commands. So we've got our musician, and what we want to do is we want to take one of these bear heads for the magician. I'm going to take musician, what am I like? So just purely because it looks better, obviously, if your trumpeter can actually play their trumpet. It's one of these where I wish there was an alternative weapon on weapon. What's wrong with my brain today? Gone completely. Musical instrument. Now you could potentially, to make it look a bit different, potentially use the drum from the other kit, but I think that might be a bit hard to do and convert. And there is another trumpet, but again, the arm wouldn't really match because it's not got heavy armor. So we can get that. I'll just kind of put the trumpet into a downwards position for now. The reason I'm doing that is just because I'm going to put the head on first and give it a little bit of wiggle room. So if I slide this head into here, there we go. And then what I can do is I can raise the arm up and then hopefully just tilt the head a little bit so that it's coming pretty much into contact with that. And there we go. Now, I've built all my horses before just to save myself a bit of hassle. And there we go. There's not really, much more you can say on that particular one. But what you should be able to find is just little bits on the sprues to make it look better. So, on this side of the sprue, we have these little shields. So, these go on the arms. what you want to do is you want to get the glue into that little up there, and then basically just line it up nicely with the side. Just finding just the right positioning. It should kind of follow the, you know, pointing towards its own elbow. Yeah. Just trying to get it, yeah, that'll do. Basically, when he brings his arm back round, it should give him a type of shield, effectively. Now, as for the champion of this unit, I actually want to give him a bit more personality than just having a sword. So I'm going to use this bird here. So there's this lovely little bird. And it's just a nice little thing to use instead of just giving him a sword. I mean, he's already got a sword on his kind of belt anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference that he doesn't have one in his arm. And it's a nice little thing to give it a bit of personality. Dit is going to come over here. And that gives them a bit of a difference. That's why I wish sometimes this arm was movable, and then, you know, rather than having just his shield on, you could do something a bit more interesting. But there we go. I want that bird kind of nice and in his arm. I'm trying to make sure that the other thing you got to make sure as well, though, is that it's not going to interfere with the horse's head. So you may find yourself kind of picking a horse that doesn't, you know, get them too close together. There we go, nice. Again, the thing is as well, you can make them knights of the realm, or you can make them knights errant. So I don't want to use knight errants, I want to use knights of the realm, but just so you know, the kit can do both. And those kind of things, again, they're always nice to have on anything, really, aren't they? Those kind of little choices that you can make. Now, what helmet do I want to go for here? I think I want to kind of... There's some nice bear heads, but I don't think I want my leader to be bareheaded. I think I'm going to take this eagle one, though. By the look, I think it's an eagle or something similar, just because then it kind of matches the fact that he has a bird on his shoulder. Trying to get the mould line out of the middle of this. I've found that there's a mould line running right down the middle of them, which isn't that bad because it doesn't show up then on the kind of the face of the mask. Okay, and again, choose your head position wisely, but I like that, kind of looks nice. Oh dear, right, try that again, shall I? You can see as well, these Knights of the Realm ones, that you've not got as much wiggle room about positioning, you see, because of the cloth on the back falling downwards. And he can have one of these again on his right hand. For right arm to be precise. Nice, slot him on. Axes are the little defense. I tend to find when you move them around a bit, they naturally fall into a particular position. Now, let's get on with our standard. So, there's only one standard option available, but what you could do potentially is, you know, maybe cut that off, one of these spears, and use that as the standard. You know, build your own modelling putty standard if you feel inclined to try that. That's always you know, an interesting little conversion. Good thing is you get 3 of these as well in total, so you can use the other one for kit bashing if you want to give your Pegasus Knights a standard in musician. I don't know if the actual units have standards in musicians, but it's just for effect really. So if you've got like more of the Pegasus Knights, just to make the unit look a bit more interesting, kit bash it on. I've done a video on how to kit bash your champion, so I'm sure you'll be able to work out from there how to kit bash your standard, although I think the standard probably will be one of the hardest ones to do. Again, you got to watch out with these because he's gonna have a horse and you've got to make sure that this doesn't interfere with the horse's head. So again, get him on. Standard, make sure that it's in a good position, but make sure it's not interfering. I'm going to give that standard a bit of a chance to dry out because as soon as I even slightly move it, it's off. It's an absolute pain. And while I'm waiting for that, I'll just show an example of a lance. Again, the way that the Bretonnian lance formation works, it looks nice if you can put some of the lances aiming downwards and some of them higher up. So if you've got an idea of how you're going to make the unit, you probably want to plan to have the knights in the middle of the unit have the lances upwards and the ones to the edges lanced downwards. So this guy is going to be on an edge, so I do like the idea of him having his lance a bit further down. Oh, or at least I would do, but I think I've chosen the wrong lance to do that. I have the unfortunately some of these lances, again, you've got to watch out if you want lance down. Ooh, my phone case there. If you want lance down, you have to make sure you pick an arm that's a bit tighter to the body. Should have seen that when I was getting that lance off then, that the arm was too long. I'm sure this one works. I'm sure this one can properly aim downwards. There we go, that's better. So, yeah, as you can see, you want the lances to be like aimed slightly downwards, but just be mindful about which lance you use. The other thing is this body's slightly twisted to the side, causing part of the problem. Come on. You can fit. I know you can. Doesn't want it now. There we go. And as I said, that just gives me a bit of downward movement. The other thing is, though, obviously, is make sure that, again, the lance doesn't intersect with the horse's head or something. Yeah, I was worried that wasn't in then, but it is. It's perfectly fine. Great. And again, choose a head that you're happy with. So I'm just going to have a quick look. I think the head that I've yet to use across my knights, I've not used this Manticore one. think the head for, let me check. I'm trying to make sure that I don't use the same like head crest twice. But the problem is it's very easy to do that by accident. I think I'm going to go for this. I'm actually going to go for a bear head for my standard. There we go. Nice. Right, and then I've got a couple of little bits left to do on these, just so this is the thing, you can add some little details as you go along. So these here are kind of needed, so we definitely need them. But what you can do is you can make some little personal touches. So like this ribbon, I like this here, it's like a love heart in a box. Like, whose heart is it? But it's obviously not, well, it doesn't appear to be a real heart. It appears to be more like a golden heart. Yeah, it's actually too like heart shaped to be a real heart for my mind. So it's obviously maybe a gift from someone or a sacred object. So I think if it feels like it's a sacred object, then it also kind of makes sense that it might be travelling with the standard. I don't want to put it on the standard's body, it doesn't feel right, it feels good there. See, I could imagine on these, if you really wanted to give the impression that they were on like a holy quest, you could put bedrolls and all sorts on them. Or, you know, take a man at arms, convert him so he's banging coconuts together behind, something like that to, you know, to give those kind of ideas. Last little bit. Oh, God, those things are so easy to drop. Trying to get these in the right position. So it feels like maybe the last one for our standard. And there we have it. That is how we do our Bretonnian Knights of the Realm. And I think they're just so cool, aren't they? Particularly when you get them in their proper lance formation. I used to hate it as a kid. My brother had Bretonnia, and that lance formation was like the bane of my existence. Trying to deal with a Bretonnian force with an orc force was a pain, but I've probably learned a lot of tricks by then, so if I do get orcs again, I'll know what to do. There we go. That is our Knights of the Realm. Hope you like those, and you know, I hope that you've come up with some ideas yourself. know how to put them together. I think the only last thing that I'll mention is the shields. I don't put them on. What I do instead is I glue them like that for easy painting, and then later on I'll sort it all out, basically. So please like and subscribe, and I will see you for the next video.